Hey guys, I'm back already with another video. I had such a good time in the other one. I wanted to do a different one. So the first video I did was a basket technique where all of the fabric was bunched together. This is another technique where you can spread out the silk flag, and this kind of allows you to control the area that the color stays in. This particular flag is going to have 6 different shades of blue. For the most part, you should be able to see all the colors when it's done, but sometimes they run together, but no problem. But while I was doing this, let me just start by saying, full disclaimer, my feelings was hurt. As I started to create this flag at my daughter's house, I realized that I left my strainer. I don't know if you guys remember the first video, I was like, oh, I love to use a strainer because it helped me control the way the dye goes on. I really don't like how heavy that this dye is going on. However, my drive was 25 minutes up and 25 minutes back, and I was just not willing to make that drive. So I am creating this without the strainer. It's going on a little bit heavier than I would like, but again, we're going to believe God for the best. So in this flag, I said I had 6 different blues. So 2 of them are turquoise, and the other one is a combination of between a royal blue, a navy blue, and like a baby blue and a sky blue or something like that. It's about 4 different shades of blue and then 2 different shades of turquoise, a lighter turquoise and a darker turquoise. So this one is going to be a size large flag. The first set that I did was 2 extra large. So I am just distributing all of the powder onto the flag, wishing that I had my strainer. So look, let me just fill you guys in. After this happened to me, when I went out, the next time I went out to the store, I bought me a pack of 3. So now I technically have 4 strainers. So even while I'm being displaced and driving all over and trying to remember everything in my trunk when it's time for me to create a flag, I'll have more than enough strainers that even if I forget one, I'll still have 3. Like, this is serious. I did not like the way that this powder was going on, and I believe that if I had the strainer, the outcome probably would have been a little bit different. But guess what? Every time I create with the Holy Spirit, I ask the Father, and as I'm praying, that whoever these flags are for, that they will bless them and they will speak to them exactly as what He is trying to say to them. So I am truly believing that a strainer is not going to eliminate what God has for the person who this flag is for. So yeah, so I am just spreading out the different colors. And again, so for me, thus far for the ice dye, I do not do the muck technique. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with that. These racks that's in this container are actually sitting on top of something. So I have it raised that when the ice actually melts, the fabric is not sitting in the liquid. So they call it the muck. So that's just once the ice melt and the water goes into the pail and it's a color. Usually sometimes people let the fabric sit in there. For me, I feel as though that would change the colors. I've never tried it, so I could be wrong. But for me, I do have these racks propped up on some little containers to keep it out of the liquid. So I am finishing up, checking my colors to make sure I don't put the same color in the same spot. So yeah, this is me just filling in the white spots. The bottom part of the flag, if you can see over to the right, that's not on the rack. I decided to allow gravity to just do its job, so that as the ice melt, whatever color decides to go in there, then we're fine with. So I'm just filling in the colors, and I'm going to get ready to add the ice. What I didn't realize is the difference between the basket and the flatter option. Just keep this in mind if you decide to do an ice dye. You typically tend to need more ice when it's stretched out like this because you have a larger section to cover versus the basket was really small. But however, I made it work. So that's the bottom part that I didn't add the powder on, but trust me, it'll be colored because as the ice melt, all the colors will run down to the end, let gravity do its thing. So this is me just propping some little balls there to keep it out of the muck. I thought about it after the fact that I didn't want the bottom in the muck. So now I got my ice together. I had one big bag and it was not enough. Good thing I had that half a bag left over from those 2 basket dyes. So for this one, I used a bag and a half. But I believe the bag was larger this time as far as ounces. And also, one thing to keep in mind when you do ice dye, the types of cubes, I don't want to say it makes a difference. It just kind of create different patterns. So if you have the cylinder type cubes, which is this, they do one texture. When I had the first ones, I think they were more so like felt like an ice machine type. And then, you know, if you use like the ice cubes or the big cubes at home, like the way that the patterns create are different based on the actual ice. So this is me just trying to fill everything up and making it work, because I'm like, I do not want to drive to the store and get more ice. So I'm like, between not having my strainer and almost not having enough ice, I wasn't sure what was going on. And I just keep saying to myself, you know what, these flags are going to be amazing because I did a lot to get these done. All right, so went to go get that half a bag. So I am finishing up to cover all the pieces where I could see the powder. So I don't know if you notice, off to the left, there's like paper cardboard. I actually put the boards there to keep the ice from falling on the side of the container because the racks are not the width of the container. So for the side facing me, it's pushed all the way up against the container, and then it's a piece of cardboard on the other side to keep the ice on the rack, because it does me no good if it falls into the container. I need the ice to be on top of the silk. So listen, you get creative. Just me stretching all the little bit of ice that I got, trying to make sure everything is covered. I think we got a winner. Everything is covered. So this is what it looks like. The ice is over all the colors. Again, this is the end part of where the ice stops. That's where the rack ends. The rest of that fabric is not on the rack. So let's see how these turn out in the next video. Stay tuned.